Good morning and welcome to the kitchen. So, dinner tonight. Fred doesn't know yet. It's going to be interesting. We are doing vegetarian. So I've always wanted to find other things to use the black beans with. Now, of course, I've got lots of dried beans, things like that, but we have the cans of black beans and things. And I've always wanted to try a black bean burger, but something that's simple and easy to make. So I think I found one. Let's give it a try. So first things first, I do have some of our peppers and onions and celery thawing out. Now the recipe doesn't call for onions and celery. It's from Sally's Baking Recipes. It sounds like a really great and it's a really easy recipe, but I don't have bell pepper. And I don't have fresh garlic, but I do have frozen garlic scapes, which will give me a fabulous garlic flavor. And the recipe also calls for 2 14-ounce cans of black beans, but that's not what we're going to use. One, I only want to make half the recipe. And I decided, English side for everybody, we're going to use black beans and kidney beans, but we're only making half the recipe, so let's get this going. Okay, let's get these garlic scapes all chopped up first. Now the recipe calls for 3 garlic cloves, but what we're doing is I just have 3 of the frozen garlic scapes that we pulled off the plants there the other day. And we're gonna chop these up. Oh, there we go. And since these are frozen, we're gonna start sauteing these up. Ta-da! Next job, drain the beans. There we go. So the way this recipe works is that all these beans are going to go into a 350 oven for about 10 to 15 minutes, give or take. Now I do not have the full amount. Like I said, I'm only have half the amount. So I'll probably only put them in the oven for maybe 10. They need to dry out a little bit because everything goes in the food processor later on. While that's doing that thing, I'm going to thaw these out, saute this up, and then we'll put the rest together. All right. So they actually ended up being in there a little bit longer because my oven and I were fighting, so they look a little weird. But they're not dried out, which is all I care about. Alrighty, we are at the food processor. So let's put these together. So first things first is that the recipe does call for a half a cup of breadcrumbs. I had some random bread left, so what I did is I just popped them in the food processor here. It's more than a half a cup, but I'm not actually doing the recipe like they say. Well, on the recipe. I'm doing the recipe based on what I have. So I don't have green pepper, which Fred's not a fan of anyway. I don't have fresh garlic, but I got fresh garlic scapes. And I have everything else, so let's do it. First things first. Woo! Let me get the onions and celery in. There we go. Time for the kidney beans and black beans without making a mess. By the way, I munched on a couple of these just because I was curious. Just by themselves. It actually tastes pretty good. I've never actually just kind of slightly baked beans before and ate them. There we go. Now, of course, since we're doing this with half a recipe, 1 egg. It's not going to be exact, of course, but we'll put it in relatively close. Now, the full recipe calls for a teaspoon of chili powder. So, of course, we'll only put in the half a teaspoon. There we go. But it only calls for a quarter teaspoon of paprika. Now it's smoked paprika in the recipe, but I admit I'm probably going to put in a half a teaspoon. Or sorry, the full quarter teaspoon. Because I like paprika. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder. So a quarter teaspoon it is. Dropped a bean. Pinch of salt and pepper, so we'll just do a shaky shaky. There we go. I forgot the salt. We'll just do one shaky. And it also calls for 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. It's not a flavor that Fred's overly fond of, so I'm actually only going to put half a teaspoon in instead of half the recipe. All right, a tablespoon of Worcester. And of course, if you're vegan or vegetarian, you won't use Worcester because, hey, it has anchovies in it, in case you didn't know. And the recipe also calls for a tablespoon of ketchup, mayo, or barbecue sauce. Of course, I'll post the link down below. If you've got all the actual ingredients, use it the way it is. And if you like black bean burgers, ooh, noisy. And if you like black bean burgers, this might be a nice simple recipe that you like. All right. Time to do the noisy, pulsy. Hold on. All right. Shove this down. Alrighty. That's it. Let me get a tray and some parchment, and then we're going to lay these out, make some patties. I just remembered one extra ingredient that's optional that we would like. I can tell you it smells really, really good. The Worcester is strong. That I will admit. So the recipe calls for feta cheese as an option, but I don't have any feta cheese, but I do have pizza mozzarella. So why not be different? So let's put in one good handful, and then we'll make some patties. Oh, Tammy, get your hands in there. I'm dying to taste it, but there's raw eggs in here, so yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But this does look like more than enough for 4 good, healthy-sized patties. So that's cool. All right, so I oiled my hands a bit so they don't stick. And we're gonna put it on an oiled piece of parchment. I have 3 set here for dinner. They're a little close together, but that's okay. And I have enough left over that I'm gonna cook one for lunch. So, all right, I'm gonna clean up, get to work. I'll be back at lunchtime. All right, guys, it is lunchtime. So I got my little pan out. It's not hot yet, but it's getting there. Got the dishwasher going. See how much stuff you can get done in a half an hour, right? There we go. It'll take about 5 minutes on both sides. Okay, so I have discovered why they say bake it. Because flipping this guy over is pretty much impossible. So I totally understand now why it says to bake these, and they definitely should be a little fatter. So before I bake them up tonight for supper, I'm probably gonna reform them to a thicker patty, but let's give them a try. That's actually got some good flavor. Of course, it's not a burger. It doesn't taste like beef. It's not meant to. But texture-wise, it's fabulous. Flavor-wise, is really, really good. Wow, yeah. I'm pretty impressed with that. All right, I'm gonna finish this up. Gonna go to work. Then I'll show you what they're gonna look like tonight, because we're gonna make some sweet potato fries and we're gonna bake them in the oven, and then we'll add the burgers as well, bake them both in the oven, and we'll have dinner. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil on the other side of these before I flip them over. This bottle's almost empty, Kato. There we go. So it's been a fun evening, because I went to start the Jeep, because as you know, I'm not driving it. And I got thinking, I'll run to the store and get milk. The Jeep didn't start. So as soon as Fred got home, hence the reason why we're eating late, we had to jump start the Jeep. Okay, these, by the way, baking, totally the way to go. Don't fry them like I did the one at lunchtime. Just saying. Okay. Done. So I did make them smaller, like I was talking about, but apparently I did not do a great job at that. But at least they fit the bun better. So we just have a little bit of mustard, a little bit of ketchup, nothing spectacular on them. A little bit of lettuce. I got Freddy's hiding off camera. As soon as I learn how to do the lettuce. But trying something new. So all in all, they were really easy. We're eating late because the battery in the Jeep died. So we're gonna eat. I'll let you know what Fred thought when he tried it. It has been a few days since I actually made those black bean burgers, and I totally forgot to give you the Fred reaction. So they actually went over pretty well. They need a little bit more flavor to them the way I made them. I'm gonna bet if you follow that recipe right through the way it's written, it'd probably be fabulous. Now, the next time we do it, we will probably add more salt. I am thinking maybe black bean and mushroom. That might be good too. Freddy's not a huge mushroom fan. It's a texture thing, right? There's a lot of people like that. Not a big deal. But if I chop them up in the food processor and actually use that and the black beans, I bet you it would taste really good. Might have to give that a try. But anyway, guys, like I said, I was trying something new, thought I'd, take you along. Yeah, I'm doing that face fail thing again today. But anyway, like I was saying, I wanted to try something new, and I think it was actually pretty worth it. So yeah, if I don't find a good soup to put the black beans in, maybe I'll just make burgers again. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. And have a great day. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you next time as we continue our simpler life here on PEI. Bye for now.